All right. So obviously, this past couple weeks have been the best time for college basketball fans like us. March Madness, been so many upsets this year, been so crazy, and it's just been two rounds. So Gio, what do you think have been the biggest upsets so far in the entire tournament?
So the biggest upset. Now there's one I believe everyone's thinking of right now. That's the Purdue FDU, right?
Absolutely.
Upset. But for me, I didn't think Purdue was as strong as Arizona was. And for me, Princeton watching the Ivy League championship game with Princeton and Yale, I really believed that they were going to get knocked out the first round. And the way they played, the way their center played, I thought their center was going to be too small against the Arizona centers and their forwards and everything. I thought they were just going to be more fundamentally small, and Arizona was going to be fundamentally bigger than them, right? And they're just going to kill them, dominate them, physically.
Right.
But for what Princeton did, the way they shot, the way they passed the ball, the way they had backdoor cuts all over the place, right? It was
Mhm.
amazing the way they were playing. And that's why they won the game, was because they won the game not physically, but mentally, right? And they had a
Right.
better prepared game and a better preparation, and that's why they won. And that's why they won, I believe, against Missouri too, right? And why they can possibly beat Creighton.
Yeah, I agree. Um, I believe they were more fundamentally sound basketball
For sure.
players because they have to be because they're underseeded. So they have to
Right.
play the basketball the right way. Whereas Arizona
Mhm.
walked in there like, oh yeah, easy win. We're
Right.
chilling. And that's also how Purdue got beat. They're like, oh, 16 seed? Nah, we're straight. But I feel like you can never take anyone for granted, especially in March
Mhm.
Madness. Anybody comes to play. It's just like
For
the
sure.
NBA playoffs, NFL playoffs. Doesn't matter your record. If you're healthy and you are playing in good basketball, you have a chance against anybody. And we've been shown that. But yeah, Princeton definitely played very fundamentally sound basketball,
Right.
and that's why they're going on to the Sweet 16.
Exactly.
And I feel like for a 15 seed, they're very. I said this right when they were 15. I said that's a scary 15 seed, and they proved me right so
Right.
far.
I do believe they were a scary 15 seed. I just thought they were going to be undersized, right?
Right.
Especially watching that Yale and Princeton game, they really were going to their main center, right? Their main guy.
Hmm.
I believe, and I thought he was just going to get worked the whole game against Arizona.
Right.
Um, Obviously they have other players on that team that can obviously shoot at a high percentage, right? They can pass the ball really well. Like you said, they were a better fundamentally team and fundamentally sound team, right? For me, if you're Arizona and you're Purdue, you obviously have great coaches, right? A great program. Um, Princeton and FDU both coach better than Purdue and Arizona.
Absolutely.
For Arizona, I don't understand how Purdue lost one, because they have a top 10 pick, you could say, in their center.
It's just what they're known for.
And I don't understand is because you're so physically more dominant than FDU is,
Right.
right? But
Well,
FDU
I will
speed,
say FDU had a great game plan against Edie though.
oh, for sure, for sure. And I would have to say there was a little bit of luck, I would say, especially on the rebounding aspect of it, right? It
Yeah.
just bounced their way, I would say, the majority of the time.
But still, to be the shortest team in the country and still
Right.
get out rebound a 7-4 guy.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying is like what happened during that game was, I don't want to say it's pure luck, but there had to be some luck the way the ball bounced, right?
Right.
But also that speed killed Purdue. The speed of FDU
Hmm.
was insane. They obviously killed them, and they destroyed the beast.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I had a feeling that Purdue, I didn't think they were going to lose first round,
mhm.
but I did have a feeling they were going to choke eventually. They
Oh, for
choked a
sure.
lot sooner than I thought, but it's just what Purdue is known for. They win, they play fantastic in the regular season, look
Mhm.
like a top seed always. And then when the tournament comes, they always lose no matter who they're playing. They've lost to every single seed except four seeds. That's it. So that just tells me right there that they can't win when it matters. And I feel like Matt Painter might be on the hot seat because of that.
Oh, for sure. 100%. And to see, like you said, Purdue go out the first round. Kentucky obviously is another team that loves to show its ability in the regular season and then go out early in the tournament.
Hmm.
Same with Duke, I would say, But for me, what shocked me the most has to be Michigan State right now.
Yeah.
The way they're playing, the way they ended up playing at the end of the season. I heard a quote. I believe Izzo said that this isn't the most skilled team, right? This isn't where he has the best prospects, but he's the most excited about this team right now than he is or than he has been in a long time.
Yeah. I mean, this team is playing absolutely insane basketball. I had them beating USC. I
Right.
knew that was going to happen.
Mhm.
But to basically dominate Marquette the way they did, I did
Mhm.
not see that coming, especially with how poor they played in the regular season. But that just goes back to my point. It doesn't matter how you play in the regular season. As long as you finish out the season strong going into the tournament, you have momentum and you can beat anybody.
For sure. And I did have Michigan State going to the Elite Eight just because I believe Tom Izzo is one of the best coaches in college basketball. He's been to the tournament 25 straight years. That consistency just shows how great of a coach he is, right? And how his team can play and perform under him,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I did have them going to the Elite Eight, but then again, that's really as far as they go usually, right? Is the
Right.
Elite Eight, Final Four, possibly.
Yeah,
I'd love to see this team win a championship. Right now, I got Alabama because they're so dominant and how crazy they are physically, shooting, everything is just
I agree.
pure dominance, right? But Michigan State, if this team can go ahead and win a championship, I'd love to see that just because this team isn't the best he's coached, but right now it's the best they've worked together for
Yeah,
sure.
I agree. I saw people underestimating Tom Izzo and Michigan State as a whole. I was like, don't sleep on Izzo and come March. You can never sleep
Right.
on Izzo come March. He is one of the
Never.
best coaches when it matters.
For sure. That's why it's Tom Izzo. It's like Jimmy Boeheim, right? Uh,
Mike
who's the
Krzyzewski.
Yeah, Coach K. Who was the Villanova coach?
Oh, Jay Wright.
Jay Wright. Yep. Yeah. He's on CBS right now. Love hearing
Yeah,
him talk, right? So shout out to him. But yeah, those great coaches know as long as they can get to March, right? And
right.
get into the
Exactly.
tournament, they know how to win in the tournament.
Right. I mean, as Syracuse fans, we know this. The amount of times that Syracuse had 19 wins and still made it to Sweet 16, Elite Eight, Final
Right.
Four.
Exactly. And
There's
that's
a reason. As long as
right.
you have a good coach and you outcoach the other team, you give yourself a chance to win.
For sure. And that doesn't show in, I would say, the stat line, but realistically, it's the preparation, right? That these
Right.
coaches make
Mm-hmm.
heading into those games because some of these coaches, yes, FDU did beat a 1 seed, right? But I don't think they prepared enough going into the second round.
No, they did not. And I feel like um, the amount of times Izzo has been there, Boeheim had been there before he retired just this year.
Right.
Um, Coach K been there. They just know what it takes. So that also adds help for their team.
Mhm. So as of right now, what is a shocking team for you in the Sweet 16 that's left?
The obvious one has to be the one we were talking about earlier, Princeton.
Princeton.
I
Yep.
did not, I just did not see this coming at all. Uh, I thought, like everyone thought, they were going to get bounced in the first round.
Mhm.
I did think they were a scary 15 seed. I thought they'd put up a fight, but I did not think they'd win. And for them to win and then not only win, but then dominate the second round, they're going into the Sweet 16 with momentum. Creighton better not take them lightly.
And I think Princeton can beat Creighton, right? Just the way they're playing as of right now.
It's just Creighton shoots that ball, dude.
They
So
do.
if they can defend the three, they give themselves a chance. But if Creighton starts getting hot, it's over. I feel like.
Exactly. And the thing with Princeton is they have kids that have heart on that team, right? And the number one thing for defense is having heart, right? And so if they can close out that perimeter, like you said, they can win that game. Not only like just win it, but they can win it easily, right?
Yeah,
Single handedly. So for me though, yes, Princeton is a good, sleeper team as of right now, who's shocked the world. But right now, it's got to be Miami.
I had that. I predicted that.
I predicted it as well because it somehow landed in the bracket for me that Miami was just the better team,
Mm-hmm.
or I just had Miami because they were ACC or something like that, right? But watching them in the regular season, watching them play against us, right? I didn't believe they could go as far as they are right now. And especially after that first round, I was very nervous for my bracket, at least in the Midwest, right?
Oh yeah.
Because they just skimmed by Drake.
Right. Yeah.
And then they go ahead against Indiana, the number 4 seed, right? And just smack them 85-69. That's insane. And if they can play like that, they can beat Houston.
Yeah, I agree. I still got Houston winning, but
Oh, for sure.
Miami definitely has a shot. But
Right.
I feel like that goes to Coach Larinaga's experience in the tournament as well.
Oh,
He
for
made
sure.
the adjustments that were needed and they executed.
Exactly. And then again, it's another great coach in the tournament that knows how to play in the tournament.
Right, exactly. So, out of the first two rounds, what was the most exciting game for you to watch?
Most exciting game. That's very tough. I have to say it could be the FDU game
Okay, yeah,
against
right.
Purdue. It could be the
Yep.
Princeton game, but the most exciting game, like that was close, that was chippy at the end, right? I think you know where I'm going is the FAU game. That game was insane to me, at least, to go down the wire like that. I don't want to say it was getting a little chippy, but they were getting in each other's faces for sure. Penny was getting, upset on the sideline. His son called a timeout. They didn't, give them the timeout at the end, which is a questionable call, but at the same time, don't be in that position right
Right.
at the end of the game.
Yeah.
For FAU to get that easy layup, right, to have that great draw of a play, I would say, right, for Penny not to have a great defensive, play set up,
Mhm.
that has to go for me as the most exciting game because of how it ended.
That's fair. For me, it's got to be the Virginia Furman game. It looked like Furman
For
was dead in the waters to me.
sure.
Um, and then obviously fifth year senior Kihei Clark made a crucial mistake. Furman picked it off, said, "Thank you. We'll take that." Drained the three, game over. It was just exciting to watch. I didn't see that coming at all. I thought the game was over.
Right.
And when it happened, I was like, "Oh my goodness."
So that's why when you have these games on, right, even though it's a 10-point game with 3-4 minutes left, you can't turn it off. You can't go switch to another game.
No.
Maybe if it's a closer game at the end of the second, right? Like maybe
Right.
30 seconds. But you got to stay on that game because anything can happen. We've seen it in the past before. We've seen it with Malachi Richardson and Syracuse, right? Go
Yes,
against
sir.
Virginia, same team, right? But for them to make that comeback, for that kid to make that shot, the only three of the game for him against Virginia, right? And that
Yeah.
was a deep three. That had to have been an NBA range three.
Hmm.
To make that was clutch. But Clark, he made a crucial mistake. Unfortunately, it's probably the end of his basketball career unless he goes overseas, which he might do, right? But I don't expect him to go far, like especially the NBA
Right.
level, right? But for him to make that mistake on his probably last play of his career, that's hard to deal with, and he's gonna have to live with that.
Yeah, for sure. When I saw that happening, I was pretty confused on what he was doing. I know his intent was to throw it
Right.
as far as he
Mhm.
could to run the clock. But if there's a player right next to you and you're double teamed, you either pass to him or you have a timeout. Call the timeout.
Exactly. Right.
And for him being a fifth year senior, not knowing that they have a timeout,
Mhm.
it's kind of sketchy to me.
It's pretty sketchy, begs to question if anything behind the scenes was happening with Clark, right? Like maybe throw the game or something. So I don't know. I don't want to say, put anything out there, but we've seen stuff like that happen in the past, right?
Right.
And that would be terrible for him and for that team if that did happen. But as of right now, nothing's happened, right? And
Right.
behind closed doors, right?
Hmm.
So it was just a bad mistake. Like Charles Barkley said, if you're gonna throw it as far as you can, just throw it as high as you can, right?
Right.
Because at that position, no one's gonna be able to get the ball. Hopefully someone touches it, time starts running, and then no one's able to get a shot off or anything like that.
Yeah, I agree. Um, I don't know, bro. I mean, I guess it's a smart basketball play, but at the end of the day, if there's someone wide open next to me, I'm passing it to him.
Yeah, with 3 or 4 seconds left, get fouled, you're good, right? So
Exactly. So I don't know. Hindsight's 50-50, but it
mhm.
was definitely a crucial mistake by Kihei Clark.
Oh, for sure.
And to that FAU game, FAU should not have tried to throw down that dunk at the end of the game. That is unsportsmanlike and just messed up. You already had the win. Why are you going in to dunk it? What are
This
your
is
thoughts
against
on that?
FDU, right?
It was against Memphis. Oh,
FDU. It was
no, it
against
was against
FDU.
FDU. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, Memphis, it was their layup at the end of the
Right.
clock,
Yeah.
right? So,
But yeah, no, I'm just saying that was unsportsmanlike, not necessary.
right.
And I don't understand what the point of that was.
Well, not to contradict you, but we've seen Dion Waiters do that at the end of the game. Once the game was ended, right? So,
But I feel
although we
like
can
it's
criticize
different.
him for
I feel like
doing
it's
that,
different in like a regular season game than technically a playoff game because their season was basically over. And they
okay,
weren't supposed to be
understandable.
there either.
Understandable. It's a lot of salt in the wound, right?
Yeah.
So, I can understand that aspect of it, but at the same time, if you're a kid, right, you're shocked. It was a close game. I would say it's 70-78.
Right.
To let some emotion out, dunk it at the end, just to, put the seal on it, right?
Mhm.
I can understand it at that aspect of it, but with your point of view, I can understand that as well, and it was unsportsmanlike.
For sure. Um, so moving on to Sweet 16, you have any surprise upset that you're predicting?
A surprise upset. You know, I'm well, obviously we're gonna pick Michigan State over KSU, right?
Okay, right.
Okay, I'm gonna possibly say Princeton over Creighton, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna say, ooh, that's gonna be a tough one. I'm gonna have to say, I want to say Xavier over Texas, which isn't really that big of an upset,
No,
right? Because it's a
not really.
2-3. But at the same time, I think that might be the best game we're gonna see in the Sweet 16.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So could be that one. But in the West, right? Who would you have? Do you have Arkansas beating Connecticut?
Yeah, that was gonna be my surprise upset. I do believe
Do you?
Arkansas will beat Connecticut. Yeah.
Because I'm kind of shocked that Connecticut has made it this far, this
I knew
easily.
they would, but I had them losing to Kansas if Kansas had gotten past Arkansas.
Right, right.
But yeah, no, I think Arkansas will beat Connecticut. Arkansas has a great coach, number one, and they just have a great team overall. They play great defense and they're so fast and play great offense. I just don't see how Connecticut's going to slow any of that down.
Right, exactly. And then for this game, I don't know about you, but I believe UCLA is going to kill Gonzaga.
I think UCLA will win, but I think it's going to be a very close game.
You do believe it's going to be a close game?
Yeah.
I don't know. I watched that. What was it? What conference are they in? Pac or
Uh yeah, the UCLA's in Pac-12.
they're in the Pac-12, right? Yeah. I watched that Pac-12, championship game,
Mm-hmm.
and I know UCLA lost, but the way they played, they're so physical, they're so big, they can shoot the ball, right? I think they're going to win this game single-handedly against Timmy. Unfortunately, it's going to be his last game, right? So I think UCLA wins that game.
Yeah, I agree. I believe UCLA will win as well. I'm going to contradict you. I think Texas will beat Xavier, but I do think Xavier has a better chance than people are giving them. But
Yeah,
I
for
just feel
sure.
like Texas's mentality and physicality will be enough to get that win.
Right.
But uh go ahead.
I was going to ask, who do you have in your championship game as of right now with all these teams left?
Well, one is still standing. That would be Alabama by far because they are looking like the best team in the tournament.
Right.
So originally,
Yeah,
before
who did you
Candace
have?
got, huh? No, originally, yeah, I have Alabama in it, but
Okay. And then
originally
who?
before Kansas got beat by UConn, I
Mhm.
had Alabama, Kansas. So
Really?
I'm going to have to change that team as Kansas got kicked out.
Mm.
Hmm. Let me see. You know, I'm gonna say it's gonna be Alabama, Houston, and Alabama's not gonna blow them out, but their offense will be too much for Houston to overcome.
That was a very smart pick because at the start of the tournament, my bracket, obviously, I had Alabama like probably 86% of us or 90% of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Houston, like I like, I like the size, right? I like them playing inside, right? Houston is another team, right? They also got shooters on the outside. They got a complete team. I think Houston, Alabama in the championship game, Alabama does win, obviously, because of how dominant they are, right? I'm just upset. Three of my four Final Fours are still in it. My
Yeah.
fourth one,
Oh, number one seed Purdue.
nope. It's the number five.
Oh,
I
Duke.
it
Duke.
was
Yeah.
Duke. I thought that kid, he gave me Christian Laettner vibes, right? I always watched the Christian Laettner 30 for 30, during this time period.
See,
Gave me
I,
Christian
I
Laettner.
I knew Duke would. I thought Duke would make it to the Sweet 16, but I just thought after the Sweet 16 they'd be too inexperienced, and that's what killed them against Tennessee. I feel like.
Exactly. And that's why I had Duke, Michigan State,
Mhm.
right in the Elite Eight, and then obviously Duke winning just because of that kid. I believe, like I said, he gave me Christian Laettner vibes, and then you also had what's his name? The guard
Roach.
Roach. Yeah, Roach. You have Roach on that team, who's pretty good as well, right?
Hmm.
So unfortunately, that didn't happen. And Tennessee, like you said, came out with a 165-52. They look pretty good as well, and maybe they can beat FAU.
Yeah, I think they will beat FAU, and I'm honestly surprised how well Tennessee is playing because I thought they would not look good without their star point guard Zakiya Ziegler, who tore
Right.
his ACL right before the tournament.
Yeah, exactly.
So I did not think they would get past Duke for that reason, but
Mhm.
clearly Tennessee has more playmakers than I thought.
And the reason, so I agree with you on that aspect of it. And that's pretty much the same. Although it wasn't a player for Kansas, that's why I had Kansas going out early in the second round, right? Was because they didn't have their coach. That's their
Yeah,
leader, right?
yeah,
So when you don't have your leader, then obviously everything else can fall apart. But
true.
yeah, I am shocked that Tennessee is playing so well right now. But the next man's, standing up, obviously, and they're getting it done.
For sure. I do think they will get to the Elite Eight, but if they do have to go up against Houston, I believe
Right.
they will. Their run
Who's
will
who's
end
that?
there. I
Tennessee?
think. Yeah, do they have to play Houston if they win?
They would have to play Michigan State if they win. Obviously,
Okay.
if Michigan State beats KSU.
So I think it'll be Tennessee, Kansas State, and I
Mhm.
feel like that'd be a heck of a game.
You think Michigan State's gonna lose to Kansas State?
Yeah, bro. Kansas State is my sleeper this year for sure.
The sleeper.
Out of the last few teams, yes,
Mhm.
I think they could make the Final Four.
I don't really think it's a sleeper being a 3 seed, really.
True, true.
But at the
But
same
I feel like
time,
people are
I agree.
underestimating them.
I know I'm underestimating them. I know
Yeah,
I've talked to people because they do have them in the Final Four, right? And I'm shocked. People have Kansas State and Miami in the Final Four. I'm like, well, what are you doing? But at the
yeah.
same time, they're right so far, right? They keep
Hmm.
moving forward, right? So anything can happen, right? And unfortunately, I've been wrong about Kansas State. They're gonna lose to Michigan State and Tom Izzo. So
We'll see. We'll see. But if that does happen, either way, Tennessee, Michigan State, or Tennessee, Kansas State, or if FAU does pull off an upset, either way, it's going to be a great game.
it's gonna be a great game.
So
I
we'll
think
see
this
what's up.
has this been the best tournament, like, so far as being, unexpectedly great
I
all
feel
over the
like
place?
I feel like it was predicted for me. I thought that it was going to be an upset heavy tournament because there was just no favorite going into it, in my opinion.
Mhm.
And that turned out to be right. So I feel like, but yeah, overall, it's definitely been one of, if not the best tournaments of the past decade, I'd say.
I would agree. I just think the talent in this tournament so far, what we've seen, right? Even in these smaller schools, there's just so many talented kids in there, right?
Hmm.
You've had on Colgate, I believe, right? You had the best 3-point shooter in the nation,
Right.
right? Obviously, they lost, but at the same time, for Colgate to have the best 3-point shooter in the nation, not one of these Big Ten schools or ACC, Pac-12, right? Being in the Patriot League, I
Hmm.
believe, right? Best 3-point shooter. Great for them, right? Obviously, Princeton and their big man down low. He's not that big, but at the same time, he can be like the Tristan Thompson, capability, possibly, right? He's got heart. So there's a lot of kids in this tournament that have a lot of talent.
For sure. A lot of teams being slept on, a lot of kids being slept on, and they're proving people
Right.
wrong.
For sure. For sure.
So, obviously, fans, Nick Saia was not able to make it tonight. So, do us a favor, leave us the comments of your predictions for his championship. Obviously, most of us know that he wishes Syracuse was in it. So, if you wish to put Syracuse in a dream reality, go ahead. But if you wish to put the real tournament teams, his prediction, we would love to see your predictions.
You know who I think he would pick?
Who?
He would pick, the most craziest team. One crazy team, right? So it's gotta be Princeton. It's gotta be Princeton.
Yeah.
All right. And then he's gonna pick like a solid team, right? So it might be UCLA, it might be Houston or Miami. He might go Miami because of ACC, right? So I
Yeah.
would say Princeton, Miami. Oh, especially since he's a Dolphins fan and all that,
Oh,
right? He's
yeah.
not a Heat fan. He's gonna pick Miami for sure.
I could see that. I could definitely see that. But Gio, you got a segment for
Yeah, I wanted to shout out Jimmy Garoppolo signing with the Raiders and making so much noise in Las Vegas. It seems like he's being idolized like LeBron James was idolized in Cleveland, and he hasn't even played a game yet. I really just wanted to highlight that point of Jimmy Garoppolo just because is he really that good? And I know Nick Saia hates him, right? And he's just a system quarterback. But if Jimmy Garoppolo, he's in the right town now. He's in Las Vegas. That's his city, right? So I
Mhm.
hope he does good. And I just wanted to shout out Jimmy Garoppolo being a Las Vegas Raider.
Yeah, congrats to him on getting the contract. Um, I wouldn't say he deserves, but I'm getting a contract. I don't believe that the Raiders will improve vastly with him at quarterback. I feel like they'll be around the same record, but we'll see what happens. And yeah, there's not much in the video game world. Usually I'll throw it to Nick Saia, but decided not to show up tonight. So we'll go back to Gio.
For what?
So just end it like Saia ends it.
All right, we'll try my best. I can't put the enthusiasm right as Nick Saia, right? I can't put anything else like Nick Saia because he's one of one. But thank you all for watching. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you leave a comment asking where Nick Say is. Maybe he's in Miami, right? Maybe he's in California. Nobody knows. Maybe he's on Mars, right? So leave a comment down below. And then until next time, thank you all for watching. And also, make sure you hit that subscribe button.
Yes, sir. Thank you for watching, and we'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.
Peace.